What's up, guys and girls? It's your boy Big Rizzle, aka Big Red, aka Mr. Download My Mixtape, and I'm coming to you today to introduce a new segment to my YouTube channel, which I'm going to do at least twice a month, which I like to call What Happened. Basically, I talk crap and reminisce about a game series that has now become defunct or has been on a hiatus for such a long time. So, with no further ado, we're going to talk about what happened to the Maximo series. Released back on the PlayStation 2 on December 27th, 2001, developed by Capcom, inspired by the system of Ghosts and Goblins that was released back on the NES back in the 1980s, Maximo, Ghosts to Glory, and its sequel, Maximo vs. the Army of Zin, centered around a boy named Maximo and his adventure to save his kingdom, and him also trying to keep his clothes on, which come off every time he gets damaged. So, yeah. In hindsight, the clothing thing kind of acted as a health bar out the gate. You know, the more damage you receive, you'd be out here butt naked, you know what I'm saying? And it's also a callback to Ghosts and Goblins that was released back on the NES back in the late 1980s. The main character, Arthur, would also lose armor and clothing the more damage he received as well, so it's sort of like a full circle kind of thing. Anyway, enough about butt nakedness. The game acts as a regular platformer, hack and slash, but with a more comical and cartoon-like representation. My first experience with the game was way back when I was a little kid hanging out with my cousins, who came to town every summer and Christmas to visit their dad, which was my uncle. I came busting into the room and excited to see them and stuff like that, and then I look at the TV screen and I see my cousin Manuel playing with some dude who was butt naked. I'm thinking he hella gay, but I sat down, shut up, and the gameplay was pretty solid. Hopping from platform to platform as the actual environment is falling apart around you was a little unnerving. But while that's going on, you have to collect coins, you have to try and avoid ridiculously hard mobs, and you have to try to survive. I mean, this right here has got to be the cartoon predecessor to Dark Souls. I mean, a few hits and you're dead. The game is relentless. I mean, at some point it made me want to literally bash my controller into the wall repeatedly until nothing remained. But hey, we all feel that way sometimes, right? Or is that just me? Anyway, the game progresses as you would assume. Navigate the area, collect a few things, fight a few enemies, defeat a boss, get a key, unlock the door, and bam, next level. Simple. It stays this way for quite a while until you get to the end game, and boy, if you thought I was kidding about that controller, then you are dead wrong. Anyway, after recovering from that mess of a game, I thought all was done, until 2007 came by. I'm in the 6th grade, walking into an EB Games out in Fairview Park, Ohio, and there it is, the sole purpose of my prepubescent existence. Kingdom Hearts! And the sequel to Maximo as well, the Army of Zin. Released way back on September 18th, 2003, I completely missed that gravy wagon. Capcom was still at the helm and thought, hey, let's make it a little more darker and mature, and boy did they. Gone was the goofy hack and slash and bland villain and anti-hero characters. A more mature Maximo came out of the cut like a wet band-aid. The combat mechanics were a bit more polished, and the godforsaken camera system was tweaked a little bit, but still to no avail. It was hot garbage. My 12-year-old self looked past all that and paid a hefty $11.99 for the pre-owned copy, which, I swear, if I had a time machine, I would have told my 12-year-old self not to buy it, tell him to stop being so nice to little what's-her-name in third period. She doesn't like you, Little Red. Move on. I'm sorry, I got caught up in my rant. Anywho, the game progresses the same way as before. Platform, hack, slash, collect, but mini-bosses everywhere. Gigantic, robotic, mini-bosses everywhere, and you also get a badass Grim Reaper transformation. But to be honest, I took the game back 2 days later because my mom sat with me and watched a few cutscenes and said, why is there a Grim Reaper, and why are they talking about demons? And honestly, Mom, I don't know, I was 12. The game received favorable reviews, but nothing too spectacular. All major game journalists and publications always gave this series a 6 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. The only one that gave the original Maximo a 90% favorable status was EGM, and I really think they were getting paid by GameStop to some degree. But, whatever. I really think what happened to this series was, back in the early to mid 2000s, Capcom was just experimenting a lot with the gaming industry. They created games for so many genres, it's not even funny. Onimusha, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, the Street Fighter EX series, Devil May Cry, Mega Man X8, they were literally in every picture of Kool-Aid trying to make its own flavor, but I digress. I'm guessing they just tried out the cartoon platformer for those two games and felt it was an endeavor with no payoff. Still, those two games have a cult following. Maybe someday they'll come out again with another one and, have some fun. Until then, they have the series on the PlayStation Network. Get it there if you want to try it out. Other than that, it's been your boy Big Rizzle. Be easy. I'm out.